Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for a special vintage cube. It's election week here in the US and things are rough. I'm up 2 or 3 hours earlier than normal because I couldn't sleep. So I figured if that was the case, I should probably make some content out of it and make it the best that I can. Um, I've heard gameplay is fine for this cube, but things are a little bit awkward because it's using like all of the promos ever in existence. So we'll see how many times I don't recognize a card like Swords to Plowshares or Lightning Bolt or something because it's using some super special, awesome box topper, the limited release Exodia foil version. The tank's gonna be a little empty today in terms of anecdotes. I am exhausted. But we're gonna try to make some good content. Have some fun doing some crazy magic BS. If we can get this thing to fire. What is today? Today's Thursday? Today's Thursday, so this will probably go up tomorrow. Okay, in that case, in the future for me as well as you, the Vintage Showcase is going to be on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to playing that. I'm probably going to go and play Hogak Vine again. That deck has been very good for me. This is a new draft client I've never seen before, so that's something. This is not exactly a bonkers pack. There's a bunch of things that are just like fine here. There's something like Survival of the Fittest that could be a build around for maybe a Reanimator style deck. There's a Factor Fiction that's good for a fair blue deck. I don't think we first pick a Kithian and try to force White Weenie, despite how on brand that would be. I'm looking at Dak Faden, Survival, Factor Fiction. I'm gonna take Dak Faden. Like, it loots through the deck, it takes powerful things like Moxen. Oh god, I don't like this experience with all of these new arts. Okay, this is a much better pack. Now we have some more powerful things. I'm gonna be taking the Splinter Twin here, and there's a world where we wield the Zealous Conscripts and have the full combo. Otherwise, I really like Sower of Temptation in this pack, and something like a Batter Skull is, or even an Oblivion Stone is not totally unreasonable. All right, so let's kind of assume that I'm going to be going in the blue-red direction, which means that this is probably the obvious take here. It's a good threat on its own. It's a nice disruptive creature as well in a format where you do want to have at least some degree of interaction with what your opponent is doing. This card doesn't even get a name. Like, really? Wandering Fumarole isn't exactly a great land. I'm thinking about that versus Sensei's Divining Top. Cards like Burst Lightning, like I'll probably want one or two of in the deck, but there's a lot of replacements for them. I would rather have untapped lands if I'm trying to get to 4 mana to Splinter Twin, but in the case that I end up just being a mediocre blue-red control deck that can't go infinite, having a man land as a finisher seems fine. At the same time, taking top to dig towards the combo is also good. I'm going to take the Fixing. So this is a pack where I could take an on-color finisher, a generic removal spell, or a card for a control matchup. The construct token is not looking like it's going to be good, so this would just be a thing that I would be plussing to draw a card every turn, which is not the worst, but this is like not going to be a Jace or an Oko or something like that. I think I'll still take it even if I don't play it main deck, but I really don't know if this is going to be better than one of the other two cards here. Um, Siege Gang Commander is a card that I can put a Splinter Twin on, and it probably wins the game. Not instantly, but it does work. Solemn is also, like, obviously a fine value card, and you can pretty much never go wrong with something like a Wormcoil Engine. Like, I love, love, love Wormcoil Engine. I can also take Wall of Omens and go, like, old school, modern, yes, Sky, Splinter Twin. I think I'm just going to take the generic colorless finisher. Something, 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 something art. Avalanche Rider's Splinter Twin is super cute. I don't know that I passed that up. Metamorph is also very, very, very good, though. Maybe Metamorph is just better. This is not a pack that has a lot to offer me. I can take the Rampaging Pharasodon. I don't see it being where I'm going with this deck. So I actually think I'll just take the Stomping Ground in case we get something random like an Oko later that I want to splash. Two force. So the next pack may give us the Zealous Conscripts. For combo-based reasons, I'm going to take the Imperial Recruiter here, rather than the splashable Huntmaster. Damn. I will take a Batterskull. The Imperial Recruiter can get the Metamorph. Would I play this? I don't know that I would ever play this. Take the splashable Walker that I'm probably not going to play. This is not exciting. Could also try to get weird with Revel Arcs, but I'm going to take on color removal here. Don't think I would end up playing any of this. Take the land when it when in doubt. Well, there's that Oko I was talking about. We haven't opened up anything cool like power. Signets are like really good in this deck because we have a Batterskull and Wormcoil Engine as finishers, but I don't know that I can just like pass this card. It seems like I'm going to be a tap out control deck that maybe has a combo finish, but like we don't have a combo yet. Steam Vents looks good. I like Steam Vents. I like Counterspell. Fiery Confluence would be a card that I would probably add to my deck, but I don't know that it's amazing here. Like, it really looks like I'm going to be tapping out too much for me to just, like, love, love, love Counterspell. I'm going to grab Steam Vents. Remember what I said about signets like 30 seconds ago? I think that still holds true. This one is going to be at least somewhat on color. Thirst for Knowledge is also okay. Fractured Identity seems a little too expensive, but super interesting. That's a Stoneforge Mystic, and I have a Batterskull. Do I end up white with a Boros Sickness? I have Stomping Grounds Oko versus like a Condemn and an Ajani and a Stoneforge. Maybe I end up white. I'm not missing out on much or maybe even anything by not taking this here. Take that. Well, there's the combo. Don't think I'm gonna wheel anything from this pack. Holy shit. Maybe we'll stay blue-red. I don't know what's going on with a tertiary color here. But like now we're incentivized to be able to make red, red, what red, which makes splashing some of these cards less desirable. There's only 12 playables here. 13 if I count the Karn as a colorless card draw card. I'd be okay going a little bit land heavy. I have 2 selection cards already, Dak and Imperial Recruiter. I don't think I need another big fat finisher. I also don't know that I'm committed enough to the white that I take Path to Exile. But I think I take the Orzhov Signet because if I end up wanting to splash these 2 cards, like having 2 on-color Signets makes a lot of sense. I don't think I have the instant and sorcery count to make Goblin Dark Dwellers good, despite how much I really like that card in Cube. It's a pretty late Signet as well. I don't think I get to make good use of this. Time Warp is eh. Goblin Rattle Master is eh. I think I'm going to take the Goblin Rabble Master. Mana Leak versus another Signet. I have 2 great colorless finishers. I'm so light on interaction. I'll take the Mana Leak. That probably makes the main deck. That probably doesn't make the deck, but it might. I don't see myself wanting the white finisher. So that's junk. That's currently junk, though, could become good. I thought I just picked one other junk card. Yes, Empty the Warrens. I can now through the Breach Emrakul and Bribery and Sneak Attack. Okay, there are cards here. There's also a Treasure Cruise. Every card doesn't need to be these. If I pick Emrakul, through the Breach goes into my deck. I think I pick Bribery. It's just like a generically good card that can Mise Winds on its own. And if the Emrakul comes back, I consider playing it. Ah! That is how it works, isn't it? I don't think I hedge towards that Emrakul anymore. I'm gonna take Control Magic or Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is lower on curve interaction, but Control Magic and is just like very, very good and limited. 2 removal spells already. Let's take the Control Magic. Blue Delta fetches Steam Vents or Island. Oh, there's a Restoration Angel. So I have, without putting a Plains into my deck, I already have 3 sources for it. 4, 9, to be playable 18. It opens up some of this stuff. I'm just gonna take the Delta. Brazen Borrower seems pretty good, as does Signet and Phantasmal Image. I'd be happy with any of those cards in my deck. I'm just gonna take the Brazen Borrower as a generically good card. Maybe I shouldn't have been a coward. Picked the Restoration Angel. I'm just a little worried about like triple red plus white if I go into a splash color. I think I like P and K. Wooded Foothills also fetches Steam Vents. And will fetch Mountain. Seems fine. The late Vamp Tutor that someone's going to get. White Signet? Also a world where I just like grab a Planeswalker, but I think I'm going to take the White Signet. It makes life a lot more bearable if that Restoration Angel somehow comes back. Yeah, okay, so the Emrakul did not come back. That is not unexpected. I'm just gonna I'm gonna grab this, but I don't think we would play any of these cards under any circumstances. We're not gonna splash for the Oko. We'd realistically maybe play Bolt. We're at approximately the right amount of lands. Maybe there's a world where I want a generic 2/2 in some matchup. I don't think so, though. Alright, is it more likely that I want a 5/4 finisher? No, it's more likely that I will want that in a sideboard game. We we can't just keep it like the old client where the deck that I've been building the whole time is there. Huh. Okay. Overall, I rate the drafting process as slightly negative. Not necessarily enough for me to deter me from doing it again. But enough that I'm annoyed. Alright. So I can do 18 lands with this. I don't know that I need 18 with triple signet, but having 18 will help me get to like red red and blue blue a bit easier. There's also worlds where I can like very realistically splash some white cards. Wouldn't play that, that's green. That's color as well. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 natural white sources. Without doing any work if I play Tundra. That might be enough to just jam something like the Faith's Fetters into the main deck. Or the Stoneforge Mystic. Though it's a little awkward because like the Stoneforge Mystic would become a mid-game draw, at which point I could just hardcast the Batterskull. Not hurting for playables. Like, Faith's Fetters is probably better than Char. But maybe Char is just good enough. I have 2 very good generic answers that I can sideboard into. I'm just going to keep that available as an option. 7. All right, 7 and 7 means that I have an even split of everything. Is that fine? I actually have considerably fewer blue symbols, don't I? So it's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not counting this, versus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Those numbers should be one higher because of Dak Baden. Yeah, let's drop one island there or one more mountain. Yeah, you figured out what was up. And I think that's good. I don't remember if Magic Online is dumb, / I haven't drafted in a while, so I don't know if it's dumb. So I'm going to go ahead and preemptively put a pair of planes in the sideboard, just in case. Let's save this in battle. Oh, I think I also need to snip this. I don't know that I can actually look at my deck list during a game. Maybe let's sort the deck list then, before taking that snip. Desktop draft. Actually, I should just leave that open. I'm gonna need that. Play. Yes. Save and continue. We'll see if my dream of getting in this entire draft before work actually happens. I don't think it's going to. I only draft like basically once a year. Well, that's poor wording. I usually only draft when the vintage cube is available. So that tends to mean at the tail end of the year. This is a good, fair hand. We'll absolutely keep this. Opponent has mulliganed aggressively. Probably does not bode well for them in limited. Especially in a blue mirror. Although they could have card draw and I might not. We're likely to get good value out of this mana leak now. That is a nice draw. Yeah, you can set me back a land drop. I'm good with that. That does make me discard, doesn't it? Unless I just incinerate. I don't think I want to incinerate, though. I think it's this. I could also just get rid of this land. I'm making land drops for the next 2 turns. My opponent has enough mana over there that my mana leak isn't necessarily live. Also, very awkwardly, despite the fact that I have 3 mana, I can't actually cast this Vendilion Click. Do it multi-kicker 2 there. Now this lets me hold up Mana Leak and Vendilion Click. Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a Wormcoil Engine with a Mana Leak up. I could Mana Leak that to guarantee that my control magic resolves. Because I can't fight back on my turn. I don't know that I'm getting a lot of value out of this Mana Leak otherwise. Because if they have like a Mana Leak, or Mana Leak's a bad example, but if they have another counterspell of some kind, like a Mana Drain, for example, it's so bad for me. Yeah. I have to fight there. Then I'll just take it back with my control magic. Or Dak Faden would be hot. That's what we're doing today. We're fighting. Well, that's very good. And this is one of the things that I said early on in the match. If the opponent has card draw and I don't, they potentially pull ahead in some of these long games. mean, that bodes well for me. I have to activate the ability of this thing to turn it into a 4/1. Wandering Fumarole plus Lightning Bolt is a 2-turn clock, even if my Wormcoil Engine gets Oblivion Ringed or something. But I guess if they Oblivion Ring, they just, like, take the control magic. Yeah, that's not the best for me. Or is it? Are they dead? Shit. That's very good. Alright. I can Metamorph a Consecrated Sphinx, and then we can have a very awkward game where we both get to draw a shit ton of cards. But I wonder if I just need to make my own Wormcoil Engine instead. I have a combo that they can dig towards. I don't know what they have to dig towards. This is optional? It's optional. A weird decking fight could ensue. I think I'm just gonna make a Wormcoil and hope that I can close out this game. I don't know the composition of my opponent's deck. I don't know if I win the Consecrated Sphinx fight. Well, that is super punishing. Now they gain control of my Wormcoil Engine. Wait, hold on. Oh, with CMCX or less. Hold on, why did you not just, like, pay out? Could have paid out and taken my Wormcoil Engine. Do you have something else really cool to do? Jeez. Alright, I think I'm donezo here. I'm gonna take one draw step. But my draw step has to be pretty nuts for me to come back from here. I don't know that I win this game if I trade both of my bodies for that. Let's move to the next one. I didn't show my opponent any pieces of the combo game one, so that's worth something. Relying on Wormcoil Engine as a finisher seems rough. I think I want to go into white here. And where's that Karn? I think I want to pick up these 4 cards. Geez, that Thieving Skyfisher is also very good against Batterskull. Is that another thing I board out? I go out like 1, 2, 3. um, 4. Just treat that as an upgrade. Like go those 4 out, these 4 in. An island becomes a tundra, and 1 mountain becomes a plains. I would like to play first. Hand's not exciting, but it has stuff to do and mana, so I don't know that I get to toss that back in limited. There's also a lot of draws that just improve this. Like, a land is fine, a white land is very good, a red land is very good. Mana Leak, one of the 3 signets, or Everflowing Chalice is also pretty good. Opponent has a tough mulligan decision over there. That's fine. Unless I draw an instant, it's my plan to just tap out for Dak next turn and filter through my hand. I would actually quite like it if this just trades for a counterspell or something. I don't think this is an Everflowing Chalice game. And I actually don't know that I'm going to want a tapped land, even though it is a man land. Alright. Please minus. Days. We're gonna pop that out so I don't forget about that. I mean, it's super cool that they revealed that, so I know to play around it. I think I junk Mountain Plains. And then just play a Signet to ramp me. Allows me a little bit better to play over that days next turn. Alright, so your recruiter can go and get something like Skyclave Apparition. You also have Fencer. Spirit of the Labyrinth. Walker? Keeping my opponent off of white, A, keeps him off of the Spirit of the Labyrinth, and B, also means that I just have less of a chance of something like Council Judgment or the Skyclave Apparition from coming in and taking away my board, which is really strong. I can now work towards a combo finish. If I would like. I don't know that I would like. I kind of just want to play a Siege Gang and get my opponent that way. The deck also just means that I'm somewhat likely to find the combo naturally over the next few turns anyway. Alright, I kind of got my opponent stuck there. So that worked out well for me. I don't think I want to change anything. Let's just submit as is. These are awkward in this matchup, despite the fact that they theoretically seem like they might be good against a control deck. Keep. Man, my opponent has mulligan very aggressively. in all of these games. They mulligan a 5 game 1, I think 6 game 2, 5 game 3. Oh, that just makes a white. Okay. Be lazy and fetch now. I'm gonna take this Steam Vents because of the Kiki Jiki in my hand, and I already have a Signet to produce white for the Oblivion Ring. I think I need to play this. It sucks if my opponent goes land into big scary thing, but they're on white. Yeah. Does not land? Does not land. Alright, so let's do this. Make 2 mana. Cast with multi-kicker 1. Alright, cool. So now we have a bounce or mana leak available. No, that can't resolve and take my chalice. Absolutely not. Crash in with the Kiki Jiki and go about it that way. Seems awkward. I think I'm gonna do it. Okay, hold on. I get dazed here. But all in all, like keeping my opponent away from their end game is probably pretty good for me. I don't have blue. That's a really good draw though. Like I'm very happy to have that. But this staring contest is definitely better for my opponent than it is for me. We don't have very many blue cards, and we boarded out 1 island. All right. I think I want to cast the bribery after they do something. I think I just wait this out, because I know they have actual factual counterspell. And if they don't do anything, I will cast Brazen Borrower just as a clock this turn, I think. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take my value. Alright, now they don't have blue showing. So I think I accept the bribery. I will take the Consecrated Sphinx. I should have paid closer attention to their library. Hmm, that's annoying. Like an oddly specific answer that's very good. I'm gonna have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 damage for the next turn cycle. A Wrath. I can get 2 damage out of this. I think I just let that go and then put my clock into play. A Metamorph. That's certainly going to be interesting. I think we're just battling. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I hit you for 7. Fortunately, all my answers to this Sphinx are going to be at sorcery speed. So my opponent does get a couple of cards out of it. I think I Metamorph it first. Take my own. So 1, 2, 3. I guess I want to control magic it. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, then I'm not getting an attack in. I want to have a couple cards to work with next turn. Also, drawing towards the lightning bolt's not bad here. All right. Venser return their own Consecrated Sphinx to their hand. Oh, I guess that's just better. Kind of. Definitely. Well, I did not expect them to be able to answer two consecrated sphinxes at instant speed in their upkeep. God, I hate Magic Online sometimes. Are we at the point where I just O-ring this? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, crash in, hit for 4. I'm probably at the point where I do that. And I just try to get my opponent dead next turn. Alright. Good, they can't answer the third Consecrated Sphinx at instant speed in their upkeep. Control Magic is some bullshit. And my opponent has like another onboard way to get the Consecrated Sphinx out of the way. That is annoying. I guess I have to control Magic and then face Fetters to Fairy and hope they don't have the Skyclave Apparition that they showed me. I think I have to start here though. Yeah, that's why I started there. Dead? Probably dead to the Consecrated Sphinx. I can't really play this deck Vaden. Like, plussing it means that my opponent gets a bajillion cards. Oh, maybe I have to. And decking my opponent potentially becomes the way that I win. I'm just going to take that off the table. Recruiter for like a Spirited Labyrinth or Skyclave Apparition is very good. Yeah, that draw also just produced 4 power for my opponent. Yeah, I think my opponent is just like very good against my win conditions. I'm being totally honest. Alright, my opponent chose not to use those abilities, which means they're cognizant of that. And I probably can't win. We'll see. Like, maybe they attack in with these creatures and I get to, like, surprise them with this manland that they forgot about somehow. Yes, those are two more cards that are no longer in your library. I am on board with this. Uh, the opponent has 7 cards in library, and I'm on a 5-turn clock. So they are currently winning in that regard. Yikes. Okay, I'm on like a 2-turn clock now. I think they messed up their turn. I think they were supposed to jump Spear of the Labyrinth and just crash in this turn. Alright. You're in a May. Oh, please deck yourself. They did not deck themselves. Alright, I think I'm donezo here. Alright. GG's. Yeah, my opponent answered Consecrated Sphinx so many times that game. Like their ability to like bounce and answer at instant speed was so much better than my ability to deal with things at sorcery speed. They were white sideboard cards, so they're not on that. All right, I'm gonna cut off the video here, and I'll do rounds 2 and 3 later in another video.